I've done a variety of volunteer activities with Rotary, both individual projects and bigger projects, and with our district. I've been very involved with our district, which is District 6490. I've volunteered with elderly people or people older than myself. Probably all my life I've been involved with people older than myself, and I enjoy that population. And some people are not comfortable with going into a long-term care facility. They don't know what to say or what an elderly person needs from them. And if they haven't done it as a child, if they haven't grown up with that, they're not comfortable doing it. But I went with my grandmother as a child to nursing homes, so it wasn't something that made me feel uncomfortable. And I also owe a lot to the people who started the Thursday morning sing-alongs, which has really been my most fun and most rewarding volunteer activity of my whole life, really. We just do that and we have a blast. And we dance too, not very well, but we dance around with the residents and just have a ball. So I encourage anybody who sees this video to join us.
When I retired from the reading group, I decided that I would like to learn a lot more about the research and some of the things that were happening in schools all over the United States. Establishing the reading group was hard work, and I enjoyed it, but watching it grow now, and also having LEAP, which is linking educators and parents, we can give a lot of attention to a lot more people. And so we've provided once a month programs in schools and in different locations. And when I see some of the children that we worked with at the reading group long ago, some of them actually send their children for help. They remembered how they had been helped and they want their child to help.
Probably my father's influence, since he was one of the initial people dedicated to a boys' club. He wanted every one of those kids to have an opportunity. He retired from Sullivan Chevrolet back in the early 60s, and he devoted his efforts for equality. And so that was one of the important things he championed. He was my example. Rotary was influential in the community, and I enjoyed being a part of that and promoting good things. Right now, I think I am deeply involved in the Martin Center for the benefit of the Boys and Girls Club. So that's my main thrust at the moment.
The reason why I started with the CU Autism Network was just a voluntary position. Our mission is to help individuals and their families in the community, providing them with support, education, training. This has personal motivation. My son, Paulie, he's going to be turning 12, motivated me to not only help him, but others in our community. I saw the struggles that people were having that I had when I first moved here, needing help and guidance and just advice of what to do. Autism is not always easy, so it is there are hard days, and there are days that you feel alone, and so having a support system is key. It does take a village, and that's what you'll see, like hashtag Kwan Village, because it really does take a village to succeed and provide that awareness that we need so badly in our community.
First of all, I'm very sorry that I can't be here tonight for the 2019 Hearts of Gold dinner. I'm with my daughter in Ireland, but I want everyone to know that one of my favorite people in the world is being honored tonight. Karen Pickard came to us from another community, but shortly after her graduation from the University of Illinois and the DG House, she set up camp in Champaign, Illinois, and became my teacher at St. Matthew's. She also was my teacher, the teacher of my children at St. Matthew's many, many years later. I'm so grateful for what she did for my family, especially me and my kids, but also for our entire community. Because even after she finished her teaching at St. Matthew's in Champaign, she's gone on to maybe make an even bigger impact in our community at places like the Crisis Nursery and even more recently at the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen. Karen, I just want to tell you, I love you with all my heart. I'm sorry I'm not here, and thank you for everything you've done for me and Champaign, Illinois.
I'm a volunteer at Daily Bread Soup Kitchen and also at Crisis Nursery. And anytime somebody needs something someplace else, I volunteer because it's fun. It's absolutely fun. Playing with little ones, feeding people who are hungry, you really can't go wrong with that. So that's why I am where I am. And I get probably more out of my volunteering than the people with whom I volunteer. I'm sure I do. I was at Crisis Nursery this morning, and a little 4-month-old was smiling, and he had dimples, and I thought, oh honey, you're just making my day. A person at the soup kitchen will say, that was a fabulous meal. I've had enough, I'm leaving. And that makes my day too. So that's why.
A very special thank you for this award, and Kyle and Phyllis and their family have set a wonderful example for all of us. Just great opportunities in our community to make a difference. And Ed and I truly appreciate the opportunities we have to make a difference in our community. Building for the future, for Ed, many of them might remember that first Sweet Corn Festival.
1975, 10,000 ears of sweet corn.
Or the economic seminars, often highlighting new programs and new facilities in our community. You probably have some pretty good memories about that.
Well, we sure do. We went over a lot of things at the Assembly Hall when we had our seminar there, and had the opening of the new airport and the opening of the Supercomputer Center, and so we had many, many exciting things to highlight.
As United Way campaign chair in 1986, I had an incredible team of volunteers, and the theme, Together We Can. Volunteers are truly key to so many of these very exciting events in our community. Many of you will remember the United Way Kids Way and Youth United programs and the national award-winning Make a Difference Day, all of these introduced by Pat Chappell, of course, at United Way. These programs had a tremendous impact on youth and young children in our communities. A big thank you to those of you also who have helped with the Carousel of Caring, with 32 of our community's most talented artists painting carousel horses and sharing their stories via their artistic talent. Businesses who displayed the horses at their workplaces for actually a few months, and businesses and individuals who had winning bids on those horses, enabling us to introduce the United Way Shared Promise Endowment Fund, supported and maintained by, of course, the Community Foundation. Sustaining and building on our relationships with current and former leadership, like board and committee chairs and board members and members of committees, donors and potential donors, with personal visits, special events, and events like this evening's Community Foundation event provide great opportunities to share the impact and future of their efforts in our community. Dreams can truly be achieved by working together, and the Community Foundation works very hard to bring people and resources together to create positive change and lasting impact in our communities.
Well, I was asked to talk a little bit about some of the activities I've been involved with over the years, and I've been on the U of I Foundation Board, where we've learned from there the importance of private giving, both to the university and to the community, and we see the benefits every day as we drive to work. And then also you look at the formation of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Research Park Board, things like that have really been enjoyable to me, and to see them create jobs and create growth for the community. Well, I got to tell you, in 1975, I became president of Busey Bank. And a few months after that was announced, I had a call from John Franklin. And I just barely knew that John Franklin was a very well-respected attorney in Champaign. And he said, Ed, I'd like to buy you lunch. So I said, okay. So we had lunch together. He said, I want to tell you about the Community Foundation Board. He said, I think you might be interested in joining it. So that was 1975. A few months later, I joined the board in 1976. And I found out you could rise to the top quickly, because in 1978, they made me president of the board. But in turn, the foundation involvement involved so many things and created opportunities for me to meet so many people I would never have met. And I'm amazed at the growth of the foundation over the years. They're up to $27 million now. When I think I first started, it might have been up to $10,000. So we've seen a big increase. But we're fortunate to have the Community Foundation here, and Joan does a great job with her staff, and everything they do is so important. And there's a quote from Winston Churchill that I've used many times, and I want to share again. It's, we make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. Let me repeat that. We make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. So thank you. I've enjoyed being part of this program. Joan, for your team, you're a great group. We're really glad to work with you. Carol and I have a couple of accounts with the foundation, so we know they're being well maintained. Well, I think we know there are generations coming after us, and it's important that they understand the importance of volunteering and giving. My mother was a stickler on this. I grew up in Danville, and she always said, Ed, you've got to get involved in activities. And when I came over to the U of I, she said, Ed, you've got to get involved in activities. And I think that culture that came from my family was very important. And I look at our two boys today and their families and our grandkids and how they get involved with lemonade stands and all these other things. And they raise money to give to churches and functions and things like that. And it's just part of the culture. So I think I want to encourage everybody. If you got a grandkid, a kid, get them started on giving a little something back. It makes a big difference.
My parents, too, were very actively engaged. I grew up in Urbana, and my father was at the university and actively engaged in all kinds of things, as was my mother, and she was a teacher, so many of them were youth-related things. And so they set a wonderful example for me as well as Ed's mother with him.